Now, folks, if you see the first news, which is the House panel includes SEBI review in agenda, likely to summon Booch. Now, you should be aware while you are studying the Parliament chapter of Lakshmikant, that there is a Public Accounts Committee, and the Public Accounts Committee, as a matter of convention, is headed by the opposition party. So someone from the opposition, the main opposition party, chooses the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, and it has membership both from Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. I think they have 22 members or 30 members. If I'm not wrong, there are 22 members, 15 plus 7, 15 from Lok Sabha and 7 from Rajya Sabha, depending on their weightage in the in the parliament. Different parties are represented there. Now, usually they do not suo moto take up basically the functioning of these bodies, the regulatory bodies, but they do have the power to do that. And what the Public Accounts Committee has done, basically, it is the watchdog for government spending and other things. So because this has been in news now, SEBI has been in news for all wrong reasons for quite some time now. Earlier it was the Heidenberg issue, where it highlighted that there is some kind of link between the due diligence that the Madhvi Booch should have done, and her husband's exposure to the businesses and the funds which were parked in both in Mauritius and in these safe havens. So that was the first allegation. The second allegation came with respect to the fact that Congress party has had basically said that this particular chairperson has also received money from ICICI, which is way more than her enrollments in. Yeah, so which is much more than her enrollment in the SEBI. Then apart from that, the third issue that has been raised day before yesterday and yesterday is that 500 of employees, gazetted class A employees of SEBI, have now written in an open statement that they are not happy with the working conditions in SEBI. So all of this basically is coming within the 1 month, and because of this now PAC has taken the issue, and it is going to discuss the activities of the regulatory body. So this is where it is written that they are going to do that, and the performance and the review of regulatory bodies established by Act of Parliament, and SEBI is through an Act of Parliament, and then they are going to summon Madhvi Booch as well, and basically try to understand why these disclosures were made or were not made. So all of these issues will be discussed. And as I told you, it's a 22 member body with 15 from Lok Sabha and 7 from Rajya Sabha, and it can have oral evidences. It can call anyone to its this thing, and principles of natural justice prevail in this particular deliberation as well. So read about powers of PAC, read about different issues which PAC has already taken up in the previous past. So you can read about all of this and understand the powers of PAC. Then as I told you that there has been a number of issues in case of in case of SEBI. SEBI denies toxic work culture officers protest. So what has happened is that there are allegations, and there is a article on the editorial page also on this, that 500 grade A officials have complained that there is hostile environment, and there is basically all of them have basically gone for the head of Madhvi Booch, that she should resign, and the fact that they have said that their salaries are not in consonance of what it should be. Their HRA is limited, and that they believe that that the work culture is where that you are frowned upon, you are shouted upon. So that kind of that kind of environment, a comfortable work environment, is not available. And apart from that, they said that there is something called KRAs, key result areas, which basically talk about transparency, accountability in the regulator, and their work culture is such that they've been given long list of demands, and they've been pressurized to work on these targets. So it has become very target oriented, just like you have a call center which has set targets, and if you're not able to make those targets, you're being frowned upon. So all of these have been mentioned, which basically brings a lot of issue in case of the working conditions. Then there's another article on the front page, or let me cover this article here as well. Yes. So if you see, this article also says the same thing, that the toxic work culture, and the Congress party, as I told you, that she's received around 17 crore rupees after she's left ICICI. And then we had the issue of the this particular entity, uh, talking about that they had Booch and her husband had also the obscure shore account in Bermuda and Mauritius as well, where Vinod Adani had the funds. And there are issues of conflict of interest, lack of disclosure, employee dissatisfaction. All of these issues are there, and SEBI as a body cannot basically shrug it under the carpet, because of the fact that it is too important a body to be left on its own. Why it is a too important a body? Because if you see the number of people who have flocked into the stock market, who have now become stock market investors, have become many-fold, especially after COVID. So therefore, it is very important that this institution remains impartial. This institution has autonomy. This institution has independence and integrity, and protects the integrity of the market. So because of all these reasons, we need to put all the things in order in this particular institution. Then two more articles are important. In fact, three more articles are important. This article NMC withdraws curriculum that says lesbianism sexual offense. So we are going to read about this. But in general, let's read about the first thing. Swachh Bharat has helped avert 60,000 infant deaths per year, says a study. Now we know that what has happened is that between 2015, especially after October 2014, there were 11 crore household toilets that were built under Swachh Bharat mission. Now there is a connection between sanitation and infant mortality and under 5 mortality. And what this Nature journal has basically reported is that because of our expanding this thing, your sanitation facilities and water and safe water facilities, what has happened is that we have saved around 60 to 70,000 infant deaths. And these are in all the states. It's not just in the northern states, it's all across. So there is a direct benefit. In fact, there is also a benefit on which is not written in this article. There is also a benefit of nutrition and malnutrition, because when you have poor hygiene, it translates into the body not able to basically synthesize food as well. So not only does it have an impact on mortality rates, it also has an impact on the entire disease environment that is there, and which is it is actually called as the disease environment. So the cleaner your hand, the cleaner is your house, the cleaner is the water, the better will be your food intake, the more nutritious will be your food intake, and also the possibilities of bacterial and viral infections will be less, thereby reducing the impact of IMR as well as under 5 mortality rate. And this is what is written in this particular article. You can read this. Then another article which is important is India, China, Brazil in Putin's list for potential mediators on Ukraine. Now we have been meeting both in the last of 2 months. We have met, the Indian Prime Minister has met both Vladimir Putin, as well as he has also met President Zelensky, and there have been talks about the fact that yes, there could be some kind of possibility where both the parties can come together and then work out for a kind of a peace deal. But at the same point of time, there has to be initiative from both sides, and what the Russian Russians have said that they identify China, Brazil as the potential mediators. But I think, I mean, my personal gut is that if a mediator has to be found out, it will probably be India, not in China and Brazil. Brazil, because it's too far off and too disconnected as a place. China, because it is actively participating and actively supporting militarily and technologically to Russia in this particular war or conflict, as you say. And then and then India is basically, yes, India has very close cordial relationship with Russia, but at the same point of time, India stands at a better India is a better negotiating place for this rather than the other two countries. So read about this article, and then we are going to read about the National Medical Council has withdrawn this curriculum that says lesbianism as a sexual offense. Now let's read about this article, and then we'll move forward. No turning back. Now, what had happened was that in 2022, the Madras High Court ordered the National Medical Commission, and it had basically it had taken up some steps. For example, they had taken up a competency-based medical education curriculum, and this competency based medical education curriculum basically was more progressive, was non discriminatory. Now we have understood that sexual orientation is not is basically not even binary, or not even on heterosexual and homosexual. There are other kinds of categories as well, and we need to identify, and we need to acknowledge and respect all these categories. So in fact, there are I think 58 different types of categories that are there, from what I understand, and it had medical curriculum should be progressive and non-discriminatory. So recently what had happened was that the National Medical Commission had again introduced words like sodomy, lesbianism, for testing virginity, that are again introduced this two-finger test. So all of this basically endanger the gender, sexuality, equality, dignity of the individuals, and therefore removing these words and making it more gender neutral, making it much less discriminatory, something that needs to be done. And this 7-hour training module, which had introduced all these words again, was basically a regressive step. And now under pressure, NMC has again this is what the front page news is, that the National Medical Commission has again removed these words. So we need it basically read counter to the LGBTQ plus community, the Transgender Rights Act 2019, as well as the rights of people with disabilities. So all these definitions and outdated definitions, as well as these stigmatize these communities, and this needs to be taken care of, and we need to have a humane approach towards all different kinds of genders and all different kinds of people that the medical education and the medical sector deals with. So this is something which has happened. Then this is not an important news. If you want to read it, you can. Let's go to the explain page, folks. Now, day before yesterday, we had talked about that from the 1st of September 2024, the 23rd Law Commission has been notified. Now, the work of the Law Commission, you should understand, it's a non-statutory body, but the idea of the Law Commission is to basically review the laws which have been made, and then make recommendation if the changes to these laws are to be done, or any other matter that has been put to the terms of reference. So there's something called as terms of reference. Every commission that is set up basically is also told that what it can do and what it cannot do. Now the 22nd Law Commission recently completed its term, and there have been a number of issues which have been raised by the by the party in power, for example the UCC and the new criminal laws, as well as simultaneously holding of elections. Now all of these, when we talk about the revision of our criminal laws, so it did not come out of air. So a lot of law commissions had written about it, and all of this, for example on UCC, or for the amendment on CRPC or the RTE Act. All these were basically issues which were earlier taken up by the law commission, and then the government of the day understood the gravity of the law commission report. And because it is headed by and basically you have judicial members on board, and but you have non-judicial members on board as well. So you have wide variety of discussion there, and representation there, and even the public can also, they can call for public for representation as well. So because it has a wider mandate, and there is a lot of discussion that happens, therefore it can basically guide the executive to make better laws. Now the new 23rd law commission, the members have not been highlighted as of now. It will be notified by the law ministry legal affairs department, and there will be a full-time chairperson and four full-time members, including the member secretary, and it has 5 members in general. So this is the law commission. They have not yet identified them. Then what is the terms of reference? A, identify laws which are no longer needed. B, creating SOPs for a periodic review of laws for the simplification, and again laws that are not needed, which are not in harmony of the economic times of the country. So these are the basic 3 terms of reference. The 22nd law commission also had an additional additional task, basically to see that which are the DPSPs. Now you should be aware about the DPSPs. Now directive principles of state policy, which of them can be implemented. For example, the implementation of UCC, the Uniform Civil Code, is the part of your DPSP, and if it can be implemented. So all these issues are basically talked about in law commission. Then the second article, which is a very important article, which we had covered day before yesterday as well, and which is very important because of the Honorable Prime Minister's visit, is that we are talking about India and Singapore are talking about the manufacturing of chip manufacturing, and because Singapore has a huge geostrategic and geoeconomic importance, a collaboration with Singapore is going to be very, very helpful. Now what has happened is that India has gone for this push in semiconductors. We are already aware of that because of the fact that in COVID 2019 we saw that the supply chain can be disrupted, and then even the Taiwan could be attacked, and therefore the entire global cycle of this thing could be disrupted. And therefore in 2021 we launched the semiconductor mission, and now we have also have foundries. There are 5 foundries that we have set up, and we have there are 2 with Tata Group, one in Assam and one in Gujarat, and there are other ones as well that are there. So we have set up these foundries, and we need to take a chip out of the story of Singapore. Now Singapore started investing under the visionary Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew. In 1973 they started creating export as a major factor towards creating employment, and they started calling these important companies like Texas Instruments and National Semiconductors to build these sites, and now they basically contribute 5% of global wafer fabrication, and then they also provide 20% of the semiconductor equipment production they produce. So this is where this particular country has become extremely important, and they have invested a lot in basically because of the fact that their labor cost was less. They invested a lot in the semiconductor industry. But at the same point of time, what is important is that they have also got a lot of funds from, say, Taiwan's Taiwan's United Micro Electronics Corporation. Also, they've got funds from Global Foundries. Also, they've got funds from TSMC. But all of this is there. But at the same point of time, the typical chips that they are producing are for industrial use. So what they do is, there is something called, and you should be aware of this. Now what Singapore produces is mature node chips. Now mature node chips are basically process node technology, which is 28 nanometer and above, which are used in appliances, cars, equipment. So all these chips which are used in these areas are basically produced in Singapore. Whereas the high end chips which are 7 nanometer or smaller, which are required in the AI sector, which are required in your computer chips, all these are basically expensive. They are not produced, and India is also thinking of producing these kinds of semiconductor chips. But for all of that, in terms of labor, in terms of setting up the infrastructure, we need help, and that is where the use of this particular country will be there for us. Then next, what is the significance of first global legally binding pact on use of AI? Now you should be aware of the fact that there have been a number of AI pacts. The first pact was in October 2023, which is the G7 pact, also called the International Code for Conduct for Organization Developing Advanced AI. It's a 11 point code for promotion of safe, secure, trustworthy AI, and voluntary guidance for actions for developing most advanced AI. Then you had the European AI Act. Please read about the European AI Act and the Bachelet Declaration in November 2023, which is where India is also a signatory of this particular this thing. And the idea is to basically have a global action that was needed to oversee the potential risks of AI. Now what has happened is that United States, European Kingdom, and EU has signed the Council of European Convention on Artificial Intelligence, and it is going to be a legal binding treaty on the use of revolutionary technology. So this is the first time that you have a legally binding treaty, just like UNFCCC, you are having a treaty on AI. Now, officially, the Council for the Council for European Framework Convention on Artificial Intelligence and Human Rights and Democracy and the Rule of Law. The treaty was opened for signature during the conference of the Conference of Council of Ministers in Lithuania. But at the same point of time, let us understand that what is the pact all about. Now pact is basically has been drafted over the last 2 years with more than 50 countries in loop, and to develop basically development, use and decommissioning of AI basically sectors, which includes both the private sector and the public sector, and spanning all geographies. And the framework is basically upholds people rights. It says human rights are very important and you should not discriminate humans. So there are 2-3 important points. First, AI system should protect human rights. The second is that they need to protect the integrity, independence and effectiveness of democratic institutions. They should not get into this election work and stuff, and respect the judiciary and access to judiciary. And then they should protect and promote democratic processes within the country, and in the life cycle of the artificial intelligence system. So all of this is basically being talked about. Remember these words, because these are going to be the basic tenets of any AI law that any country is going to execute. Then on the economy page, folks, MSME raised alarms over steel imports. Now what has happened is that India is basically receiving a lot of steel imports from China, and therefore the MSMEs see the big players the big producers basically do not care about the small MSMEs, because for them they only rely on large orders. So but Indian MSE, for example, if you see, see that MSME typically orders only small quantities of steel, only 2 to 4 tons, as compared to big companies which offer big amounts. So basically the large steel producers do not really care about the MSMEs. They care about the exports. They are more interested in exports and how they can export more. And therefore they want that they can import at a lower cost and then export at a higher cost. So this is what the large companies are concerned with. But MSMEs are basically saying that because the large manufacturers are not favoring us, we should increase the duty hikes on from of import of steel from China, because that is what hurts us. Instead of producing within the country and instead of relying within the country, we are importing this steel from outside. So read about all of this issue, that what is this issue and what the government of India has done with respect to that. Then WTO trade barometer signals upturn in global trade in the last 2 quarters. So if you see Q4 of 2023, basically January to March of 2023, and now the first quarter of 2024-25, the exports, the merchandise trade volume has increased. So basically what you are saying is that there is an upswing in the world trade, which basically means that countries are recovering and therefore they are going to import more and export more. Therefore even some amount of these benefits will also flow to India. Having said that, last year our merchandise exports actually fell by 3.1% because of the fact that labor intensive sectors like textile, leather, gems and jewelry did not perform well. So this is something that you can take up. Then another important article on this particular page is, first time in modern India, average food household spending falls to less than half. Now what has happened is that suppose I'm a rural household in India, and if I'm earning 100 rupees in rural India, then earlier more than 50 rupees used to go to basically food consumption. So that is called as average household spending on food. It was more than 50% for all of modern India. But now what has happened is that because of schemes like Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, by which around 800 million people get food. Basically 80 crore people in India get free food under this particular scheme, which is basically 16 crore families in India get free food. And because of this, because you're getting 25 kgs per household, you're getting free food. What it does it that your expenditure on food will reduce, and instead of spending on these basic items which are anyways given by government of India, you think of diversifying your expenditure, and you think of expenditure on something like eggs, vegetables, fruits. So all these you can do, and then other kinds of expenditures you can do. So this is a positive a positive thing that we have seen, and the decline is much more substantial for the last 20%, the bottom 20% of the households, because for them the income is very less, and therefore if they are provided free food, then I mean their expenditure on other items increase, and that is what is the finding of this particular paper. And then automobile dealers reach alarming inventories level worth 77,000 crore rupees in August, which basically means that people are not buying automobiles, which basically means that there's a lack of demand, there's a lack of consumer sentiment, which again shows a problem in the Indian economy. So while we are growing, the demand in the economy is not growing, something which is an issue. Then, have you heard the teacher? Now yesterday was Teachers Day. Now you should be aware about the fact that why is 5th of September celebrated as the Teachers Day. So read about that particular story. But this particular article says that what we have done in the recent few years is that we have burdened the school teacher, we have burdened the university teacher, we have burdened the college teacher a lot with a lot of other activities which is not involved with education. And because of all of this, there is a lot of cynicism that has happened, a lot of melancholia has happened. Basically the right kind of the kind of psychological state where you have anger and cynicism and there's no mental peace. So basically, you have people, and the pay of these teachers are extremely low. And apart from the fact that the trade unions are being dismantled, and there are comparison between private and government schooling, which is becoming far more distinct now. Now the issue is that, can this be tackled by technology? Now there is this talk that in schools you have CCTV cameras, and even the Aam Aadmi Party had also talked about the fact that we have CCTV cameras in all classes, but actual real education does not happen under the watchful eyes. Yes, you need some kind of accountability, but at the same point of time, too much of burden on teachers is not going to also make substantial changes. Now there used to be, now the value of, anyways, the value of secondary teacher used to be high earlier, because these were the teachers that were responsible for us performing in our boards, and also performing well in our life in general. But and the role of primary and the pre-primary teachers, which is even more decisive, are seldom remembered. So this is one of the major problems, that we need to acknowledge the role of our primary teachers, and because they instill whatever we have in our whatever in our lives. But at the same point of time, what has happened is that the area of the distinction between the coaching and teaching, which was important, but what the market has brought about is, because the teachers have receded, therefore the coaching has improved, and that role is now be filled by coaching. So this is what this part of the section talks about. And then it says that we have basically turned everything into an MCQ based system, whether you talk about your CVTs and stuff. So there have been tectonic shifts, whereas in terms of recruitment we have lagged behind a lot, and in terms of pay also we have lagged behind a lot. So this article which talks about the state of teaching. We've already done these two articles. Then agree and disagree. Now you can read these two articles. One part of the article basically says that, as we have been suggesting, that does harsher laws. So the state of West Bengal had passed this Aprajita bill, which basically prescribes death sentence for rape. Now one part of the society basically says that harsher laws are only response to political response to public outrage, and basically it's a diversion tactic, be it the 2012 rape case, and then the commission, the new commission of laws, or this particular rape case, and then you have new laws coming up. So these are basically knee jerk reactions, and they basically are political response, and they are not going to make anything different, because it is not the punishment which is the issue. It is, if you believe criminologists, they say that the certainty of punishment and not the severity of the punishment deters. So for example, a person who's going on a terrorist activity knows what the terrorism acts are, but still goes for those terrorism acts. So basically it's not that you need criminal laws. The mindset of criminality, the mindset why that particular state is coming, needs to be addressed. So stronger laws will not lead to a safer society. What we need is to understand the life of the victim. We need to understand what that victim goes through, and we also need to understand the society and the excessive masculinity in terms of these crimes, masculinity and the misogyny that exists in our family, that needs to be taken care of. And the opposite is basically talked about in this particular article. You can read it. Then another article, the Global South sharing the development experiences. You can read this article. Because of paucity of time, I'm not able to cover this. Then US to present new Gaza truce. and one of the major issues is Sheikh Hasina has been talking from India, and which basically has an issue with the Bangladeshi government, and they've basically now explicitly said that their relationship with India is at a new low because of the fact that Sheikh Hasina is allowed to make comments from India. So you can read about that, and that's about it, folks, in this particular newspaper. So with this, we end our newspaper class today, and I will meet you on Monday with respect to Monday's newspaper. Thank you very much, folks. Bye bye. Have a great day.